archangels, ghosts, and Bigfoot. Oh my. It's just another night for Supernatural Girls. Real stories, real answers to life's biggest supernatural mysteries. And now for another exciting interview with paranormal experts from this world and others. Here's your host, paranormal researcher Patricia Baker, on the one, the only Supernatural Girls.
Welcome, everyone, to another exciting episode of Supernatural Girls. I'm your host, Patricia Baker, and I'm here with my co-host, who is very warm in Tucson.
Yes, I am warm. Not really. I'm cold in my office.
Well,
Other than that, I keep going outside to get warm. Lucky yes.
That's right.
Back westwards.
I drove home in a snowstorm today, and it is very cold here. So that's why I'm all bundled up.
And I was outside without so much as a jacket or a sweater, and it was beautiful.
Oh,
I'm sorry, honey.
I know. We need to live under bubbles so we can adjust the temperature the way we want
That'd be nice.
Yes.
That would be what a good idea. I like that idea.
I'll have to talk to Elon about it. Just he can put
Please
it
do. Please do.
Tell us what's happening. What are the numbers telling? This is
This is an interesting time because December is a 2 universal month, and it's all about spending time with others and wanting to be with others. And you're going to find that it's going to bring some new energy and ideas and opportunities. It's going to give us a new approach to dealing with our partners or partnerships in some form. But the nice part is that it's time to take an inventory of the past 12 months. Because this is the last of the year. Consider some energies you want to get rid of because we've been overloaded some aspects. But take a look at what you really want to carry forward to next year. This season you're going to find is a great opportunity to share and care, but not just our immediate family. We have to learn to think about others. Right now, if you go down the street or go to the grocery store, there's so many people that are in need right now, including ourselves at times, just to make things get through a given day, but particularly so for those that have so little. So it's kind of take time for yourself, but do something that's going to be helpful towards other people. If you put off doing things for yourself, sometimes you forget what it's like to really have that good feeling around the holidays. And I think it's time that this 2 month that we're in, we're all very, very sensitive. So it's an important part of your life to take a look at how you want to take care of you. Take some time to take a note, maybe a fun phone call, do things for somebody that you care about that you haven't taken time for in the past. But we get so wrapped up in our everyday things that we forget that not everybody has the support or the fortitude to go forward at this point in time. So remember that numbers manifest every day. Some are easy, some are difficult to cope with, but they tend to address our stress numbers at times that we don't like. But the holidays coming, it's what we can do for others and what we have to put out there. But if we can learn more about ourselves, we'll learn more about helping other people. So kind of like know who you are, how to work best with the numbers that you're in right now. Whatever we plan on doing, know we're surrounded by numbers all of our life. We can't get away from them. It's time spent with positive people. That's going to let you feel absolutely wonderful. Be able to share, care, be responsible. But may the season be a very special time for all those you care about. It's way overdue.
Well, that sounds good. I like it. And I was reading up on astrology today, and favorite astrologers was also saying that the bad times are behind us and things are going to get better every day. So it gives people something to look forward to. We've had really tough times here in this country.
Well,
and new administration is a breath of fresh air. It's great.
Well, right now, everyone, because it's a 2 month that we're in, 2 deals with partnerships, relationships, or sensitivity, or being overly sensitive. And at the holidays, not everybody has somebody to be with. And some people dwell on the losses that have taken place, because I think if you notice, we end up having more losses of people close to us or people in the news even towards the end of the year. So it creates more of an empty feeling. So just take that extra time to be a little more cautious that somebody else might be going through a rough day.
Well, that's good advice. And it's true. In fact, I lost a friend just this last week.
Mm-hmm. I did too.
Very unexpectedly. Yeah. So it is a time, I guess people do check out for whatever reason. But
Yeah.
one thing that didn't happen today? We did not get the alien invasion.
Oh, shucks. See how you are.
And I was going to bring snacks.
Oh, now what were you going to send mine by air?
Yes. No invasion, no snacks. I was ready to sit down, eat my popcorn, and share it. But anyways, as we all see, that did not happen. So anyhow, let's get to our guest, because we have a super duper guest tonight. And this is a topic. Neither one of us have ever heard of this. And we've been broadcasting since 2013. We've heard a lot. And we've been involved with paranormal all our lives, and we've heard a lot. But not this.
No, I'm surprised.
Oh my God, we're so excited to have Dr. Alex Ling here with us tonight.
Definitely.
Tell you a little bit about him. He has over 20 years of experience in functional medicine. He guides his patients toward wellness and healing through a holistic approach to health, emphasizing lifestyle and diet through self-awareness and spiritual practices. He is a successful sculptor, a researcher into megalithic sites, and the founder of the healing natural water company, Aquan. Now, the other thing is this. Dr. Ling is in Mexico, and he is very familiar with this zone of silence, is what it's called, where all kinds of things apparently have been going on, and we didn't know about it. So we had to have Alex come on the show, Dr. Ling, and tell us, what the heck is this place? What's going on there? So, Dr. Ling, welcome to the show.
Hello, Patricia. Thank you for having me. Hello, PK. Yes, I have been in Mexico for the last 4 months. This is actually my 5th time here. And I've been extensively traveling up and down the whole country to research all the different megalithic sites, but also especially the site of the Zone of Silence. It is an area which stretches just roughly about 50 kilometers. And it starts around Mapimi, and then it goes towards Chihuahua. Especially the area of Linda Vista is very much known for, or as a UFO hotspot. So I didn't know that when I came here first. So because I came here on the 8th of April to witness the solar eclipse. And that was a very, very special event, because I've been researching all sorts of different sites internationally, especially Turkey, Göbekli Tepe, Karahan Tepe, and other sites. And we found evidence that the solar eclipse was a very important point to their culture. And from that, we also found a link which directly linked through all the ancient texts the ancient solar eclipse dates to the future date, which was the 8th of April. So we found out that the longest duration of the solar eclipse, of the shadow, was in the Zone of Silence, and exactly in a place which is known for the mountain, which is quite a strange mountain. It's 1,440 meters high. It has a huge magnetic field. And so when you take your compass to the site, for example, it keeps spinning and spinning. And there are other very, very strange happenings around the mountain. So we needed to get a special license, because in April, when we started, we wanted to go to witness the eclipse, we didn't actually get access to that specific area. It was sealed off on that day with police and military. So we, yes, it was quite a strange thing. So then we had to use a different entrance into the desert. So we had to travel actually quite a distance away from it. And then we entered it from the backside, and we had to go through the desert where we came to the ancient seabed, which is near Linda Vista. And there is a cafe as well, which is owned by Eugenius and Eva. So they're both very dedicated to all the alien sightings, and they tell everybody the story about what is happening in the desert. So we witnessed the eclipse, and we also then found out that this area is very, very special. So I traveled back to Mexico with actually a license so that I could a permission to visit the laboratory, which is very close to the mountain, which is called San Ignacio, which is the mountain which is right in the center of the magnetic field. And then we stayed in the laboratory, and we actually did a lot of research, because there is a biosphere reserve, which also is known to many biologists, because the plants are directly affected by the magnetic field. So they're much more colorful, much bigger than usually. Also, the insects are also bigger than in other areas. So it's a very, very interesting area just from that perspective. So then we found out that there are also tunnel systems and all sorts of different things which are not so known. There also was a rocket crash, which was way back in the 60s. So, and that rocket crash raised a lot of questions about amongst the indigenous people, because it was, to their accounts, not just a rocket. So they truly believe it was a craft which crashed into the desert. I have to say that the magnetic field attracts also meteorites and all sorts of celestial bodies who are really attracted by the magnetic field. So you find really every 2 meters, you find a tiny piece of meteorite. So, and that was the cause possibly that the craft crashed in that specific area. So we asked a lot of people, because I'm a researcher, and so I always try to find out the truth about what is really going on. So we had a lot of witness accounts going from seeing the craft actually crashing into the desert. Then the government sealed off the whole area for 9 months to remove every single piece of this craft, which they said was a rocket. They were so thorough about it that they actually also put in some railway tracks and a runway for a plane. So this was really going on for 9 months until every single piece of evidence was removed from the site. So, and we had a lot of witness accounts from people who afterwards also told us that there are accounts of beings or humanoid people wandering through the desert, and also partially engaging with the indigenous people around the mountain area. Specific one story is interesting, where a couple got stuck in a desert because it started to rain, and when it rains in this area, the tracks are flooding very quickly, and even with a 4x4, you kind of get stuck very fast. So, and then they were tourists, and so they witnessed 2 very tall beings who would come to their car and push the car out of the tracks so they could move on again. And they described them as very tall, almost 3 meters tall. And even though they looked humans, they got the impression they weren't. They were covered, their faces were covered with big hoods, because they were wearing these raincoats, yellow, so I've been told. So there are all sorts of different stories. Some are more accountable than others, but for me, the most interesting part was when I returned to the zone of silence. We actually stayed in the area overnight, because we wanted to see what is it all about. Can we see something? Because since the eclipse, so we've been told by the locals that every single night there are lights in the sky and a lot of sightings and a lot of strange things are happening. back to the zone of silence, specifically in that area where the dunes are, the ancient seabed, which disappeared 2 million years ago. And also we found a
Uh-oh. Oh, darn. There. Oh, you're back.
Good.
Thank goodness.
What did you find?
So, yeah, the rock formations are specifically interesting for me because that's where I do a lot of my research around megalithic sites. And we found a lot of carvings, which some of them, so have been told by the locals, again, by the indigenous people, are dating back 2 million years. So there's a lot of investigation to do to really be sure.
Oh, I think we might have.
Especially the Pleiades. So, and next to the Pleiades, we found carvings which looked like extraterrestrials. So they had very large heads, very large eyes, very long neck, and so a little bit like a child drawing, if you like, but very, very interesting. So they, the indigenous people, weren't aware.
We're having a little bit of internet trouble with this connection to Mexico. So we're going to hope that he can reconnect again. This is fascinating, isn't it, people? I never knew about this place.
I didn't either. It's just incredible to think that what they're able to find and what they're finding there at this point in time.
I know. And I want to hear more about these heads and where they found this, because that kind of, his internet kind of cut out at that moment.
I'm trying to figure out how far down in Mexico this is where he is.
Yeah, we've really got to get all this information. I'm surprised that nobody in the United States is talking about this. I have never heard anybody talk about this. So,
no, I had neither. That's why I'm going,
Yeah.
Of course, I've been down to Mexico a couple of times, but just on the other side of the border, to where the ocean is and you can get wet. That's as far as down as I've gotten.
Is this in the Yucatan Peninsula? Where is this? I really want to know the exact.
That's why I'm trying to see what he's talking about, exactly where it's located.
Yeah, because it's someplace we should go, it sounds like.
Oh, yeah. I'm ready.
Yeah, the fact that
it looks like it's nice and warm by how he's dressed.
Well, I'm ready.
It makes two of us.
Gosh. It's also strange that the flora and the fauna there are so much more colorful and so much bigger. So it must have a very strong geomagnetic field, I would think.
I would think so, yeah.
Everything there. And I wonder if that's part of why this spaceship crashed there. I mean, possibly that geomagnetic field
that's a big possibility.
Yeah, and I don't believe it was a rocket. I mean, it doesn't sound like
no.
If it was a rocket, the government wouldn't be involved. It would be if it was a privately owned, like, something to do with our Space Force or whatever. I don't see the government coming down there and taking every piece, but maybe they would. But certainly they would if it's a spaceship.
Well, that's the whole thing. The way they had it guarded and everything, that makes you question, okay, what is it you've got there?
Hiding it. And in 9 months, he said that the police were there, closed it off to everybody. But overall, it sounds like it'd be a hard place to close off.
Well, you would think so, but figuring that it took 9 months to pick up all the pieces.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Larger than we would have thought to begin with.
Chanel, can you put those pictures up that were sent of the area? So you can, there's the area, everybody. This is what it looks like. So that would be a very hard area to contain.
Most definitely.
Yeah, it would be a tough one. I'm sure they'd find a way if they had to. But those pieces, it sounds like, spread over quite a stretch.
I would definitely assume that.
Yeah. Now, and that looks like some type of a
area up in, I'm pointing like it's going to do me some good. That area, that one cylinder or whatever it is, that had to have something to do with informational coming in or out.
Yeah, I think you're right. There's so many interesting places. And Dr. Ling said he was also visiting Göbekli Tepe, which is an amazing area. We'd like to hear more about that too, because they haven't excavated all of it yet. So I'd like to know more of his thoughts. And when we did our group, we were contacted by a being that was not originally from, but was in the area of Göbekli Tepe thousands of years ago. She had a lot to say about the area and what they were doing there. And it was very much bigger than I think anybody realizes. And then when they left, why they left, that's going to talk about that. I decided to write a book because you know why? Because of Laura, the publisher. Mm-hmm. She had taken a look at the book by that beautiful singer we had on the show, Tales of the Weird and Wonderful, or whatever. Right. And she said, Patricia, why aren't you writing your own book? I'm like, because I'm lazy.
Good point.
That's why. It's a lot of work, and I don't have the energy you do, Laura. But anyway.
Oh, you have more energy than anybody that I know.
Thank you.
And you're like the Energizer Bunny. You're nonstop all the time. Always pulling up something, doing something else, and always being there for somebody else, which is, for that, I'm grateful.
Oh,
you taught me a lot. A lot of things I wanted to learn, a lot of things I didn't want to learn.
Well, I guess Chanel wants to see if we can hear Dr. Ling right now. Dr. Ling, can we hear you? You want to say something? We can see that you've got your connection back.
Yeah.
No, the wheel is spinning.
Yep. That's been my lifestyle lately. Happiness is
something. Gosh. So anyway, Laura had a great idea, I thought. So I thought rather than try to stretch any of these experiences into a whole book, I just put them all in one book. Just, story by story.
Why not?
Why not?
Every chapter is a different story.
It's a different story. Yes.
I think that's a great idea.
Right. And I've got to say a big shout out to the owner of KGRA, Eric, who was instrumental in gathering all our shows from the Blog Talk Radio feed.
He did?
He did. So now all of those shows from 2013 on are on, except for the shows when we were on that other network. Remember that one where we had
that other network?
The other network that is no longer.
Yeah.
And there were 3 years of shows missing. Were we on that for 3 years?
I guess we were.
Okay, he's back.
Yay!
I had to relocate because the internet was so bad. I had to switch over to a different internet. And I had to get inside because suddenly it started to rain.
Well, the change.
But it's warm.
Yes.
So this is a lot better. So I apologize.
No problem. No problem. We were chatting.
To have you back.
Yes.
Okay.
So you were talking about the Pleiadians and finding these heads. Well, before we go there, we have a question. Where exactly is this mysterious zone of silence in Mexico? Is it on the Yucatan Peninsula? Where is it?
No, it's northern Mexico, which is completely the other side. So when you go to Chihuahua, that is the direction really you have to take. But it is it's about 4 hours drive from Durango or from Mapimi. It's actually, you have to cross it. Yeah, so you have to cross the desert to get there, or you can take the roads, which takes a little bit longer. And it's towards, Chihuahua. So it's called Linda Vista. It's an ejido, which you can find some information out on the internet about that too. And there are some tracks you can't go on your own accounts unless you've been there as many times as I have, and then you know your way into the desert. But they're very helpful, and they will tell you or help you to get into you need definitely a very good vehicle to do that. You can't just go with a car. So you need a very, very good 4x4 or pickup truck. as I said, it's very, very much, it's desert. So you can't just drive
So
there.
where do you stay? Are there any hotels around?
No, there aren't any hotels.
There's nothing.
It's really, really quite deserted. So there is a very small village, and I think there must be a handful of people living there. But you really need to camp out. So sometimes they provide camping gear from the cafe, but they have very limited resources. So you have to bring your own sleeping bags and your own tents. And if you stay in the desert, then you really need to stay with one of the indigenous people there, because it's desert. It's not really risk-free. There are a lot of rattlesnakes, scorpions, so you need to be aware of it. You need to know exactly where you're staying. You need to have enough water, because it gets really, really hot in the area of the day. So you need to be really well prepared. So the best thing is either, if you're interested to go there, contact the cafe, the Linda Vista Cafe, and they will arrange that. Or if you, we also do tours where we take a very small number of people with us, because we also connected to a Hidola floor, which is on the other side of the desert. That's near Marpimi, and that's where we have access to the laboratory and the mountain San Ignacio. So we do take people, because we work very closely together with all the indigenous people, not because of the alien research which we're doing. Actually, our main research is about megalithic sites and water.
Uh-huh. Now tell us again, thank you for that, and tell us about the Pleiadian heads, and where did you find these?
So if you are in the center of the dunes, right in the middle of it, so it's quite a large area, but you enter the desert from the road, and it takes about half an hour to get to the dunes, which are very beautiful. And then if you go about another two miles to the inland of the desert, there's like a mountain range, and within those mountain ranges there are like plateaus, and on those rock plateaus you can find a lot of big rocks which have all the different carvings. But please don't go on your own account, because these carvings are very, very valuable, and please respect all the indigenous people. So do not go there without their permission. Yes, so there are a lot of very important ceremonial sites as well, which I cannot disclose here, because I promise.
Now, when you go there, you're close to Linda Vista. Where do you usually land to go forward? I mean, what city do you start with?
Torreon. So Torreon is one of the airports. You can fly in from that area, and you can hire a car there, and then you can take the road.
Good to know.
Yes. So it will take you just about a good 10 hours to get there. So
right. Yeah.
In the heat with the snakes. Oh, right. Sounds good.
Scorpions. Oh my God. So it's a pretty hostile place in that way. But it is something so incredible has been going on there for a long time. And the way you described the stories so far, it sounds like these ETs or interdimensionals, whatever they are, were friendly.
Yes. We didn't have any bad experience. We stayed overnight. We actually returned twice on this particular trip, which I'm still on. And so we stayed 4 nights in the area, and then another time we stayed 3 nights. And we have, especially the first time, it was quite strange, because we went there with a group of 6. And then our group got smaller, because we had someone who was feeling unwell. It's quite high in the area, even so you don't feel it. You're about 2,000 meters over sea level. And so people do suffer from high altitude. And especially when you go to higher ground to explore things as well. So which is even higher than that. So, but so we had 2 people who didn't cope with the heat, and one got sickness. So then we were 4, and from those 4, another 2 faded away. One more faded away. So we were in the end with 3 people, and we had a conversation with the indigenous people, and she said, well, it is as it's supposed to be, because the land is very picky about the people who come there and stay. So it's almost like you're the chosen ones from the group. Yeah. And before we entered, it was really interesting to see that we thought there was a thunderstorm coming, and there was huge lightning above this particular mountain in the area, where also all the sightings are. So, and then the next thing is that Eva, who's very, very connected to the extraterrestrials, she said, they're waiting for you. It's a portal opening. So, and then we drove into the desert just before sunset. And so the whole atmosphere completely, it was really supercharged. I had even all my hair was standing up on my body. And so you could really feel the energy of this particular area. And so we drove in, and then we built up camp. And I decided to stay on the back of my pickup, which I do very often because it's open sky and you can see the beautiful firmament and the sky and the stars in the night, which is really, really breathtaking, especially in the desert. And so we then made a campfire just to get sure that the snakes stay away. And yes, we haven't seen really any physically, but we have seen all the tracks around us. So yes, definitely a lot of.
I know exactly what you're saying.
It's in your yard, yeah.
They're faster than I am. I couldn't run that fast.
I know, they're not my favorites either. So, so then we, in the middle of the night, we stayed up until 12 o'clock roughly. And we saw a few lights, which did some really fast maneuvering. Some of them flew in 2 or 3 and just kind of zoomed over our heads, but they were quite high up. So also you see a large number of comets in the area, so which is really beautiful. But then we went to bed, and then I stayed on the pickup. My friend stayed in a tent. And then we got woken up by this light, which I thought was a torchlight. So I thought that our friends from the cafe would come over to check on us. Mm-hmm. And then I sat up and I looked where the light was coming from. And my friends came out of the tent because they woke up as well. So it was quite a bright light. And then we noticed that this light was coming towards us. There were actually 2. And it looked like 2 people walking with a huge torch. The only thing is that the torchlight went slowly up and up and up. And I thought they must be really tall people because it was just not something, which would explain it. So it wasn't someone carrying a torch, for sure not. So, and then my friends decided to investigate. I said, okay, I want to take film footage from here. So I zoomed in onto the light, and I could see instantly that the light was not just a torchlight, it was like orbs. And they were kind of turning and twisting inside and rotating. So they were also in different colors like blues and reds, and it looked really quite pretty, but I was thinking, okay, what is this? So, and it came still closer to us. It was probably about 300 meters away from us. And so my friends went with the torch, and they stopped. And then they saw as well that the torch lights were too high. So they came back and they said, okay, we don't feel really comfortable with this. And so we weren't worried because the energy actually was really positive. So we weren't scared or anything. But I said, let's just kind of, in a way, try and connect with it and see what happens. And then when we calmed down and we kind of connected and we were just really open to make some form of contact. And then the lights were coming still a little bit closer, but then it was going up into the sky, and it was dancing. Those two were dancing in like a figure eight, and it was really, really impressive. And I still have a film from it. So it was kind of communicating in its own way with us. We haven't seen any extraterrestrials, but we have seen the lights, which were really unusual and surely not explainable. There was no house, no any roads which could explain that this was caused by this.
How exciting!
Yes. And then in the night, I had also a very strange dream after the lights disappeared and everybody went back to bed. And I had these symbols coming into my dream, and I'm usually quite grounded, and so, but I was taking notes of the symbols. And the next day, we went to the rock formations, and we found these symbols on the rock formation. So that was really, really something where I thought, wow, that I surely haven't been in this area. I haven't seen this before. So that is really, really something different. So then the indigenous people were telling us the stories of the Eretillas. And the Eretillas are actually the people, the indigenous group, who used to live there. And they're quite known in that specific area. Now they're called the Laguneros. So, but previously they were called the Eretillas. And the Eretillas have a fascinating story. They're supposed to be half fish and half human. And they used to live in that huge lagoon, or many other lagoons which are in the area, or used to be in the area, not anymore.
You mean like mermaids?
A little bit like that, yes, like mermaids and mermen. This story is quite still spoken in this area. And so they told us a story that they were communicating with the waters, and they had this very, very special connection to water. Now, I have been by that time already investigating for a long time the waters of ancient sites. And there's a huge connection with water and ancient sites, the pyramids as well, all megalithic sites, in fact. And so
is that water different?
I'm sorry, I couldn't hear what.
Is that water different?
The water is coming from deep, deep down. So the lagoons, the water tables are still actually existing now. So in Ejido La Flor, which is one of the villages where we go on a regular basis because we're working with them and we're trying to find out the whole history of the Eretillas, because they are descendants of these ancient tribes, which are not in existence anymore. They disappeared many thousands of years ago. But the Laguneros are still around, and they are still carrying all the stories. What they haven't got anymore is a really direct link to water. And this is what my main research is about, is to talk to all the indigenous people and to establish the connection we all have as humans to water. And so it's a little bit like Dr. Emoto showing his frozen petri dish, the images of the water, where he has proven that water has memory and water has consciousness.
Right.
So, and that's something which my main research is actually based around. So we are extracting also blueprints from these waters to communicate directly with the water. And I'm one of the leading in the field now, which because we're also just about to translating these very colorful images from the frozen water into sounds. And that coincides also with the ancient songs of water, which all the indigenous people known, and still some of them are still singing these kind of songs to the water. And so it has to do with this enormous connection we have from birth and through our lives with the water, and especially the indigenous people who are so well connected, and some of the tribes which are still around, which are descendants of the Mayans and still speak the Mayan language as well. They are really fascinating to talk to and to hear how they're chanting to the water and how they're activating the water and this connection between earth and sky. And that's what it's all about. So I think we have lost a little bit that connection, especially in the Western world, for sure. So with our research, we're trying to reestablish that, because it is so important that we are reconnecting with it. Water is not just something you can drink. Water has consciousness, and we need to be much more aware of that. So, and this is the reason also why I'm traveling all over Mexico and other countries to visit lagoons and cenotes, and our research is very much involved with other biologists who are diving for us into the depths of the cenotes and retrieving the samples. And Aquan is also a product of that research. So I have been spending many years to establish what our body actually needs to heal itself.
And the water is an essential part of that, I would imagine. And you will have that for sale again. As we were discussing, it's now completely sold out from your website, but you're going back into production soon with this?
Yes, we're working very hard. We have to stop sometimes the sales because we are just a small company, but our success of the last 1.5 years has been substantial. So it's really, really nice to see how much benefit our customers get from the products.
Well, what's different about the water?
Okay, it's not just water. So we're adding actually frankincense, gold, and myrrh into the water. And so we're also using the ancient blueprints of specific portals so that the blueprints can communicate with the water and reconnect it to this ancient blueprint of creation, because all water is coming from the universe, if you like. So. Right. So we have this incredible bodies, celestial bodies in our universe, which are called the quasars. And the quasars are now known to be one of the biggest water producing, if you like, bodies in the skies, in the universe. And so we know that not all water came from asteroids, so that it is very, very possible. Since the last few years, many scientists have researched it, and I'm also an astrophysicist, so I have been looking into that for many years as well. And now we know that the quasars are spying out plasma, water plasma, at any moment or every moment in existence, so into the universe, and that they're all coexisting next to black holes as well. So together, they are incredible light beings, if you like, light bodies. So they're illuminating so much light into the universe that it swallows up whole galaxies. Literally, it's just phenomenal.
So when you drink this water, what happens?
Okay, so coming back to the water, so I created structured water, which we did from using a magnetic field and through the technology of Schauberger, which is Victor Schauberger, who was one of the pioneers and proven that structured water has incredible health benefits. So we're using the same technique, which is a little glass device which sits on each of our glass vessels, and it kind of forms a double helix, and that way it restructures the water. So we are using frankincense and myrrh and monoatomic gold. So frankincense as such has enormous anti-inflammatory properties, and myrrh, especially because I come from the background in treating a lot of cancer patients, and they found it very, very beneficial to use myrrh in the treatment. And now many of the researchers also have found that myrrh is very beneficial because it is actually toxic to cancer cells. So it reduces the
the amount of the cancer tissue. So it's like a little Pac-Man. It just goes through the system, and it kind of literally destroys the cancer cells. So
That's great. Now, what about pain? Because there's a lot of people in pain now all the time, and they get hooked on medication. How does the water make a difference with that?
Yes, again, because the myrrh, which is inside, so it's not just myrrh and frankincense. So we had to find a way to make it by the bioavailability very, very great. So we had to find a way to make it dissolve in water, which we did. So after 2 years of experimentation, so we found a way to make it water soluble. And that way it was with the monoatomic gold, it was connecting in the most perfect way. I had 100 test clients who were taking the water first, and they've all, without fail, had incredible benefits. Especially also people who undergo chemotherapy and these kind of therapies, and we all know that there are a lot of side effects. So especially the pain. And so because of the myrrh, which is also like a painkiller, it acts immediately with your GABA receptors, and it almost simulates like an opiate. So, but it hasn't got the nasty side effects. So it acts really well as painkiller. So, and then you have, of course, the frankincense, which is an anti-inflammatory, and it will prevent new cell mutation. So it's a win-win situation, and it's something which I didn't understand why it hasn't been used in cancer research much earlier. So, but not just for people who have cancer, any autoimmune system condition like arthritis, rheumatoid arthritis, all sorts of things. We have also a cream which people are using for psoriasis and eczema, and it really, really works. So I would have never put my name to it if it wouldn't have been so good for people. Yeah. But yeah, so this really was one of the success stories which we had, and now we are trying to be opening, as I said earlier, explained that we are opening a production site here in Mexico. That way we can ship directly to the States, because 60% of our customers are already from the States, but many of them, of course, don't want to pay the high shipping costs, and it is really expensive, but we just couldn't find a different way.
Well, if you need a distributor, here we are.
Yes. So, but coming back to the water as such, so we also creating at the moment, I mean, my water research is a whole different theme for maybe another show, but it is really, really important that we all understand how important this is. And the whole year, this year, especially 24, was really led by a lot of water researchers, people just finding their way into water, and especially in the UK and also in America, there's a lot of research has been done which really opened our eyes how important that is to drink really good water. Or if you don't have any access to good water, which you can buy, then at least distill your tap water, and then you can put some sea salt in it, Celtic sea salt, to just restructure it again and bring it back to life. So there's so many things which you can do. And if you have really good water, and all the indigenous people know that, by the way, they do a lot of water ceremonies, and I've been taking part in it, especially since I've been here in Bacala. I've been connecting with all the different indigenous groups, and not just from Bacala, but from further afield. And so I gave a very short talk at the university here, and we showed our blueprints, and it really is something where we can see that the water is communicating. It's not just pretty pictures. Mm-hmm. It also shown us, for example, a picture of a volcano, which was as clear as a photograph. And
go ahead.
Yes, just 2 days after the water shown us this image, the Indonesian volcano just erupted. So there's a lot more research which we want to do, and the more we connect to water, the more we will learn. And in a zone of silence, coming back to that, there used to be water as well. So we extracted a blueprint from the sand, which was the dunes, of course, previously an ancient seabed. And we also extracted some incredible pictures from that using a local spring water and using the sand to get the information. And it's shown us these structures of a pyramid, which is supposed to be underneath the sand, the dunes. And then we talked to the indigenous people there and we showed the image and they said, yeah, that's it. There is an ancient city right underneath.
There.
So it's really fascinating.
You know, Dr. Ling, I know PK and I would love to have you back to talk more about water and maybe show some of your photographs and the things that you've discovered. And it is absolutely true that we have lost our connection to the source, and we need all the help we can get to make that reconnect. And it sounds like you really have done a lot of work on this, and you're onto something that is so important for the human race. So we'd love to have you come back and share all of that. Certainly there's a lot of people selling water out there, but nothing really like this that is so intricate.
There's water and there's water.
Right.
Exactly.
Yeah, we would love that because we understand the importance of what you're talking about.
Yeah, definitely.
It has so many implications for consciousness as well as physical health.
Yes. And that's why we also have a program, just to talk for a minute about it, where it's called the Guardians of the Water. So we have a program where people can go onto our website, they can purchase a kit, or the funds will go to our research and will also support the indigenous people because they're struggling to keep their reservations because there's a lot of corruption. So and so you can purchase this kit, and then you can go to your favorite water source. If it is nearby or a bit further away, it doesn't matter. So you can fill up your little test tube, put it in this sleeve, which is like a protective sleeve against radiation, and then you can send it back to our lab, and then we're extracting the blueprint. And so you not only receive a very nice picture of the blueprint, but you also will get information about the water, if the water is healthy and if there's any problems. But also we have this global network which we're building of water guardians, and we already started to do that. So we have then an army, if you like, of guardians who are looking after our waters and also connecting and rising the frequencies by working with the waters on a spiritual level as well. But also very importantly to monitor the water, and if there's any problem, we have a global network of people who can actually do something against it, because if there's any problem with a small stream or river, it usually you can't really do anything against it because you need international pressure to change it. So and that is one of our main goals.
Great commitment that you have. Unfortunately, we've run out of time. But let's bring you back, okay? So stay with us after the show, and let's see what we can figure out to get you back here, because this has just been fascinating.
Very much so. Very much so.
Thank you so much, Dr. Ling. So we'll be back next week, and maybe we'll be back with Dr. Ling, everybody. Until then, we will see you on the Blue Highway. Good night, everyone.
Good night.
Thank you for having me.